Your prison system is a business, not metaphorically, not politically, literally. In the United States, some prisons are owned and operated by private corporations. These companies are listed on the stock market. They report earnings every quarter. They answer to shareholders. And like any other business, they are driven by one simple goal: profit. That means every occupied prison bed generates revenue, and every empty one is lost money. The United States has around 2 million people behind bars, making it the largest prison population in the world. Out of these, roughly 90,000 to 120,000 inmates are held in private prisons, which is about 7 to 8% of the total population. At first glance, that percentage might not seem huge, but the industry built around it is worth billions. So here's the real question: is the prison system designed to deliver justice, or has it quietly become an economy that depends on incarceration? In the next few minutes, you'll understand how prisons turned into a multi-billion-dollar industry, how private companies actually make money from inmates, the hidden underground economy inside prison walls, why phones, cigarettes, and drugs become insanely valuable, and what all of this reveals about incentives and power. This isn't just about crime. This is economics. Let's begin. 1. From government system to private industry. For most of modern history, prisons were straightforward. They were run by the government, funded by taxpayers, and built to punish and rehabilitate offenders. But things started to change in the late 20th century. During the 1980s and 1990s, the United States experienced a massive rise in incarceration. Tough on crime policies, stricter drug laws, and longer sentencing guidelines led to a surge in prison populations. Suddenly, the system faced a serious problem: too many prisoners, not enough space. Building new prisons required time and money, so governments began looking for alternatives. That's when private companies entered the picture. Corporations like CoreCivic and GEO Group offered a solution: we will build and run prisons for you, and they promised to do it faster and more efficiently than the government. It sounded like a practical fix, but it introduced something entirely new into the justice system: a profit motive. 2. The billion-dollar prison business today. Private prison companies generate over $5 billion in annual revenue. Two major players dominate the market. GEO Group earns around $2.5 billion per year. CoreCivic brings in roughly $2 billion annually. These are not small operations. They are large corporations with investors, financial reports, and long-term growth strategies. And here's the key detail: they don't make money directly from prisoners. They make money from the government, taxpayer money. Private prisons are paid on a per-inmate, per-day basis. This means every person behind bars represents a steady stream of income. So the math becomes simple: more prisoners equals more revenue. 3. The business model that changes everything. Now here's where things get even more interesting. Many private prison contracts include something called an occupancy guarantee. This means the government agrees to keep the prison filled to a certain level, often 80 to 90% capacity. If the prison isn't full, the government still has to pay. Think about that for a moment. Imagine running a hotel where you get paid even when rooms are empty. That's how some prisons operate. This creates a powerful incentive: keep the beds filled, because empty space isn't just unused, it's lost profit. 4. Where the money really comes from. The prison economy doesn't rely on just one source of income. It has multiple layers. Government contracts. This is the biggest revenue stream. Private prison companies sign long-term deals with federal and state agencies. One major source is immigration detention. In recent years, immigration-related contracts alone have generated billions of dollars annually for private prison operators. Cost-cutting profit doesn't just come from revenue. It also comes from reducing costs. Private prisons often pay lower wages to staff, employ fewer guards per inmate, offer limited programs and services. Even small cost reductions, when applied across thousands of inmates, can lead to millions in additional profit. Prison labor. This is one of the least discussed aspects of the system. Inmates work. They cook meals, clean facilities, manufacture products, but they are paid extremely low wages. In some cases, as little as 10 to 50 cents per hour. Yet the total economic value of prison labor in the United States is estimated between $11 and $14 billion per year. This creates a hidden layer of economic activity inside the system. 5. The hidden economy behind bars. Now let's step inside the prison itself, because there's another economy operating behind the scenes, an underground marketplace. Inside prison, many everyday items are restricted or banned: mobile phones, drugs, cigarettes, and whenever something is limited, its value increases. Phones. A simple smartphone inside prison can cost anywhere between $1,000 and $5,000. That's far higher than outside. Why? Because access to communication is extremely valuable. A phone allows inmates to contact family, manage money, and in some cases, even run illegal operations from inside prison walls. Cigarettes. In many prisons, smoking is banned, but cigarettes still circulate. They become a form of currency. One cigarette can be traded for food, favors, or protection. It functions like money in a closed economy. Drugs. This is where the real money is. Drugs inside prison can sell for 2 to 10 times their street value. Why? Because supply is limited, and demand never disappears. Smuggling networks can involve visitors, staff, or organized groups. In some documented cases, drug trafficking operations inside prisons generate millions of dollars each year. Because the rules of economics still apply, scarcity increases price. 6. Why the system is so profitable. Now step back and look at the bigger picture. Why is this system so financially successful? Because it has something very rare: guaranteed demand. Crime does not disappear. Arrests continue. Prisons remain necessary. That creates a stable and predictable market. But there are other advantages. Limited competition. Only a few major companies dominate the industry. Long-term contracts agreements often last years or even decades. Government funding revenue is backed by taxpayer money, making it reliable. Political influence. Private prison companies spend millions on lobbying efforts to influence policies that affect incarceration rates. This isn't just a business. It's a system designed for stability. 7. The scale of incarceration. To understand the full picture, consider this. The United States has the highest incarceration rate in the world. Around 2 million people are imprisoned at any given time. Private companies operate over 100 prison facilities across the country. This system is deeply connected to broader issues like criminal justice policies, drug laws, immigration enforcement. It's not separate from the economy. It's part of it. 8. The incentive problem. Here's where things become uncomfortable. In most industries, success means solving problems, but in the prison industry, success can mean more inmates, more prisoners, longer sentences, higher occupancy rates, because that leads to more revenue. This creates a fundamental conflict: justice versus profit. When profit enters the system, incentives change, and those incentives can shape decisions at every level. 9. The future of the prison economy. So where is this heading? Private prison companies are already adapting. They are expanding into new areas like immigration detention centers, electronic monitoring systems such as ankle bracelets, surveillance and tracking technologies. Even if traditional prison populations change, the business model evolves. Control becomes the product, and the market adjusts. 10. The real question. So is the system broken, or is it working exactly as designed? Because when prisons become profitable, they stop being just institutions of justice. They become part of the economy, and like any economy, they grow. The real question isn't just how much money is being made. It's what kind of system those incentives create. A system focused on rehabilitation and fairness, or one that quietly depends on keeping people locked inside. Because once profit becomes part of the equation, everything changes. This isn't just about crime. It's about incentives. It's about power and understanding how systems really work. If you want more deep dives like this, make sure to subscribe, because we break down the hidden systems shaping the world one story at a time.